at the same time, I also started to become comfortable. You know, I'm doing this VJing thing, I'm making a fan base, I'm making some money now. And I never knew what to do with comfortable because I'd spent my whole life struggling. And so when I became comfortable, in a way, I felt like I was flatlining creatively. And I felt like I needed to start struggling again. So creatively, I would be doing this instead of boo. And I had met some Americans in Japan, in Tokyo, and they're actually quite nice. And you know, because coming from England, we have a stereotype of what most of you guys are like, and so I met some Americans in Japan, and they became my friends, and they were like, you know, you should come visit Boston and come and visit New York. And so in 2008, I came to New York for a holiday, and for all those cliche reasons, you know, the people, the energy, the atmosphere, I came here and I loved it, and I said, I have to move to this city. So I found an immigration lawyer, I went back to Japan, did all the paperwork, and 6 months later, early 2009, probably not the best time in the history of New York, I moved here, and I was like, oh shit, what did I just do? You know, and I totally got what I was asking for. I had to struggle again, you know. I moved to a city where I had no money again because I spent it all on my immigration lawyer. And then I moved to a city where if people don't know who you are, they don't care who you are. I moved to a city where everyone's an artist. And I moved to a city where VJing wasn't really a thing.
So you come to New York, it's filthy, it's filled with artists, all trying to do the same thing. I mean, were you like, shit? Did you feel, or were you inspired? How did you make it at first, just day to day?
I remember going into the subway here first, and you know, a week later, I was like, oh, it's not under construction. You know, like.
Is it, baby? Yeah.
This is it. And
the whole city, you know.
Because coming from Japan, everything's so clean, and yeah, I just had this realization, like, no, this is it. But I think what happened is you know, you get here and you realize that people don't know who you are, they don't care who you are, and everyone's an artist, and you get in this cycle where you just struggle to struggle. And what I mean by that is you wake up and you're like, how am I eating today? How am I getting on the trains today? And I was lucky enough that I knew some people that let me sleep on their couches. So I slept on a friend's couch downtown for a few months. And then it's funny, they moved out, but I made friends with their neighbors. So I moved to their neighbor's couch, so I was there for a while. And basically for the first year and a half of living in New York, I slept on couches.
Wow.
And you know, it wasn't nice, but you have this sense like, I can't go back to Japan because it's like giving up. And I don't want to go back to England because that's that place that didn't really support me. So I have to struggle and I have to make this work, and I can't give up. And so I think, you know, I just kept struggling to struggle, until one day I realized that, oh, I've been waiting for people to give me the opportunity that I created for myself in Japan. And as soon as I had that realization, kind of a year and a half in, I knew what I had to do. And I basically had to create my own opportunities by using what I had access to, by using who I had access to, by using where I had access to. And basically after that, it was just a matter of calling my friends, meeting people and saying, do you have a space? 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 And finally someone said, yes, I have a space. And I said, well, can I do this projection thing? And I'll rent a projector and do something. And so I ended up doing my first show in a friend's space here. And another thing...
Was it a VJ show?
It was a VJ show. So I did the VJing, and I met some people who were in a band, and I said, you know, come bring your band and I'm going to do visuals around you. And another observation about New York is that if you just invite your friends to something, if they think it's cool and you do it again, they'll invite their friends. And it's super grassroots, but you keep doing that over and over and over and over again. And then eventually I got a phone call from someone that says, hey, like, we've seen your projections. We'd love to hire you to do it at our family and friends event. And it's at this place called MoMA. And, you know, and I'd never been there because it was like $25 to get in. And so I was like, great. And they paid me, I think it was like $500, $600, $700 or something like that. And it was like the most money I had in a long time. And after that, just kind of one thing started to lead to another, but that one thing started to lead to another because I just never gave up.